In recent times, people have started asking for scientific basis for every religious activity what we are doing. Let's try out some of the religious activities and try to find out whether these activities have scientific background. Actually, for faith, one need not have to have any scientific background, but yet let us address some of these activities and see how science is inbuilt in our religion. I greet you with a namaste and namaskar, which is a yoga mudra, which is good for my body. And I also maintain social distance from you. I don't shake hands or hug you. According to our faith, it is namaste, namaskar, wishing someone. Have a good day. And in contrast, when you hand, do a handshake, there is one thing called H. pylori. There is a microorganism which causes ulcer. This H. pylori spreads from sweat, from the skin, from the physical contact, from one person to the other person. So when you do a handshake, if that other person suffers from a H. pylori infection, that H. pylori comes into your hand and it goes inside your skin and goes and attaches to the intestine and starts scrubbing it, and it causes ulcer, which easily spreads. Most of the disease, communicable diseases, spread because of the physical contact. How nice it is to say a namaskar. So we do namaste. Even hugging and handshake in the Western countries, it came into practice because the person wanted to see whether the other person is hiding any weapons, because they were so insecure, there was so violence in the community. Whereas in Hindu community, there was no violence, ahimsa. There is no need for us to check whether the other person is hiding any weapons or not. So this in Western world, this hugging and handshake became a practice because to check before starting a dialogue with the other person, to check whether the person is hiding any weapons or not. Then early in the morning, we say Brahma Muhurt. Getting up early in the morning is our practice. Same thing is science. There is ozone, this thing, and you get the ozone when you get up early in the morning. And then comes the bath. The body becomes cool. India is a tropical country. After the bath, you are supposed to take food, not taking bath after the food. Because if a person takes bath after the food, the body cools itself and it causes, there is not enough heat in the body to digest the food. So there is a likelihood of the person getting indigestion if he is taking bath after the food. So getting up early in the morning, you get the ozone. This is a scientific this thing. And then what happens? You take bath and then you go to a temple in the morning walk, because the temple will be little distance away. So there is no need for you to drag your pet dog and then walk along the road and then take the excreta of the dog back home. Instead, you go to, after the bath, you go to the temple, which is a walking exercise, and then you start praying with some shlokas. Even for a tape recorder, there is a head cleaner. So much of garbage goes into our system, to our brain, and we clean our body. We use one armpit, one spray, another armpit, another spray. We use all the perfumes. We use a good soap to cleanse our body. But in the mind, so much of garbage every day goes inside, and hardly we clean our mind, we clean our head. Even for a tape recorder, there's a head cleaner. Even the household things, we have to keep everything every day cleaning. So, do we really do head cleaning? Do we really do cleaning of our brain? And that's prayer. That starts in the morning. So, after the prayer, we light the lamp. When we light the lamp, that lamp spreads the light in the entire household. And a lamp which is lit with the oil, gingerly oil, supposed to keep all the insects away. So then we do the prayer. Then as we take the food, we do pariseshanam. So first morning after the prayer, we also do Surya Namaskar, pranayamam. What is pranayamam? You take oxygen inside. Unlike the Westerners who drink Coca-Cola, who take carbon dioxide inside, actually what science itself says is that you need to take oxygen inside and let out carbon dioxide. So I do not know what people do when they take the coke inside, which is carbon dioxide going into your system. But here in pranayam, you take oxygen inside, and keep the oxygen inside for a certain amount of time as you chant the mantra. So when the oxygen from all your organs, it goes to the tissues, it goes to the cells, and the whole body is oxygenated. So this is a breathing practice, pranayamam, which is a part of our Surya Namaskar. So then you take the food, and when you take the food, what you do is you just take the water first, because the throat, the food pipe will be dry from the morning. If you have forgotten to take water, this is the time that you remember that you have to take little of water to wet your food pipe. And then you take what you take one after the other the grain with some sloka, and the rice which is mixed with the ghee. It's an antacid. You take the antacid and coat your system, because you are going to take the spicy sambar or the rasam later. So it coats your system, and then you take sambar, and again in the food you take again curds, which is a probiotic, and it's an antacid. So your system is absolutely protected when you take food. Even the food habits for that matter. Earlier there used to be varnas, four varnas, varnashrama in dharma. There is nothing about caste here. It talks about your occupation. Brahmins normally do chanting of Vedas, and they need to improve their memory power. So in your body there are a lot of cells, brain cells. You have the osteocytes. You have the bone cells. Your hemoglobin, RBC, WBC. But among the in the nervous system, the functional basic unit is called as a neuron. When you are born with a certain amount of neuron. When you die, the same neuron remains. Other cells can reproduce, they replace, but neurons, the numbers always remain. So neurons always helps in your memory. So Brahmins, the livelihood for them is to chant Vedas and do all the religious activities. They need to have a memory power. So neurons, the food for neurons are glucose. It is not fat, it is not protein. So in order to improve the neurons always get activated, they always take a very sattviha ahar, which is carbohydrate, glucose mainly. They also used to take proteins and fat a little bit, but the main food always used to be glucose, because they need glucose for neurons, because they need memory. They want to improve their memory. Unlike the other varnas where Kshatriya takes proteins more because they have to protect the country, they need very tough tissues. Brahmins are not very well built actually those days. So the other varnas, the Vaishyas, the fourth varna, they used to take all non-vegetarian diet. See, basically, there is nothing like vegetarian or non-vegetarian. It is sattviha ahar or rajasa or tamasa ahar. There is nothing like vegetarian and non-vegetarian. Rajasa ahar gives you more strength, but at the same time, it gives you more feeling of anger. Tamasa is more physical work, but at the same time, you get sleep. Because Brahmins do not want these two, they were restricting themselves to vegetarian diet, sattviya ahar. That's about the food. And then what we have already covered, a pineal gland. We have the religious mark on our forehead, which activates the pineal gland, which improves our learning ability. And then you comes, normally they say in religious activities, evening, there is no sleep. One should not sleep in the evening, or after the sunrise or during the time of sunset, one should not sleep. This has got a scientific background. Our nervous system has got sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. Sympathetic is the flight and the fight response during the day. You need to be very active and learn many things. But night when you go to sleep, it is a parasympathetic system. You are sleeping, your heart is still working, lungs is working, kidney is working, but you are sleeping. So parasympathetic gives you rest, and sympathetic, it's a flight and fight response. You have to be very active. During the day, sympathetic is dominant, and during the night, parasympathetic is dominant, because you need rest. So the shifting of this dominance, sympathetic early morning, from parasympathetic you become sympathetic, and that takes place during 6 o'clock in the morning and during the sunrise. So if you sleep beyond that time, your parasympathetic still continues. So even after getting up, your still parasympathetic is dominant, so you'll be very feeling dull. At the same time, evening, you are very sympathetic, you have to get into parasympathetic mode in order to give rest to your organs. But if you're sympathetic, if you're still not sleeping beyond 10 o'clock, that means your sympathetic system is continuing, and that puts you a lot of stress into your body. So the shifting happens 6 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the evening without any scientific knowledge. Our religious people said, do not sleep beyond 6 o'clock in the morning, do not sleep at 6 o'clock in the evening. So this has got a very scientific background. Then, of course, Ekadasi, we fast every 11th day. That means every 11th day from Amavasya, 11th day from Paunami, it is Ekadasi fasting. So you give complete rest to your body, and it is also religious activity. Because we always believe, science believes only the body, whereas religion believes the body and the Atma. There are two different things. You don't only take care of body and you don't take care of Atma. That's wrong. So Ekadasi, we club both the things, and then we fast for the entire day. Scientifically and economically also, there will be no food scarcity if everybody observes a fast on the 11th day. At the same time, you Atma starts doing prayers. No, we pray the God on that 11th day in Ekadashi when we are fasting. So during fasting, when you are praying, it also gives a very good peace for your Atma, and body also get rejuvenated after the fasting the next day. So jewelry, we believe in jewelry. What do they use in cancer treatment? It is the gold and the diamond cathode from which the radiation is passed. So whereas when you have the jewelry, gold has got quality of protecting, from the ultraviolet. So also the diamond. So when the jewelry is worn, probably the risk of breast cancer is minimized. This is how the jewelry came into our practice. And then of course marriage. One always, no, we don't polygamy, or it's only the one to one, only one marriage is an institution, it's not a contract in our religion. So that means no AIDS, no diseases, and this is how the practice, the not wearing everything. Festivals, we have sweets. Pongal is a festival which is actually for the sun god. Sweets. So 316 days, there is no mental dullness, there is no depression, there is something to celebrate, something new to buy, something sweets to eat. So you are actually not suffering from any depression. All the 326 days there is a festival, one festival or the other. Accordingly, we take food, and that's about it. And even at the time of death, they say religious activities, they say they prepare for the departure. Science says the body dies, whereas the religion says no, it has a rebirth. It is cause and effect. Whatever the karma we are doing, we have to suffer, and whatever the balance karma good, we will be born again. It gives you a hope. Unlike the science which says that finished, but religion says there is a hope. You will be born again, and in that new birth, if you want to do some good deeds, it's up to you. So religion and science we don't see as two different entities. It's inbuilt. So start respecting religious activities. We may not be able to, many people may not be able to tell you the reasons behind, but it is all done, it is written, it is believed, it is practiced. So they may not have the wisdom or the knowledge to explain to you each and every activity, what is science behind it. But faith, religious faith has science in it. So respect this. That's our humble request.